natural hazards, elusive animals, and extreme climates that would make it impossible to maintain the types of agriculture and cities we associate with our own purportedly complex human societies. Given the seemingly inevitable devastation inflicted by industrial farming and urban populations on these environments today, we wonder how these habitats could ever have supported sweeping monoculture croplands, vast pastures, and bustling metropolises. Instead, accounts of communities living in tropical forests tend to describe small, often supposedly isolated groups relying on hunting and gathering to survive. These assumptions shape not only how we understand the history of tropical forests, but also how we go about trying to protect them. Traditional conservation approaches to tropical forests assume that humans are simply incapable of living in them sustainably, and that the best way of protecting them is to treat them as intact ecological wildernesses with minimal human disturbance and presence. Even the word commonly used in English to refer to tropical forests, jungle, from the Hindi word jangal, was originally meant to classify something outside of the realm of human settlement and home comforts. Yet we should be skeptical of the stories we have so often been told about tropical forests. During my life-changing expedition to the Amazon basin, two specific moments, far less expected but far more intense than any of Victor's and my struggles under the canopy, stayed with me. These encounters not only highlight the longevity and intimacy of human interactions with these majestic environments, but also their ongoing significance to all of us, whether we live in the tropics or not. First, one morning, as we woke to the gentle shaking of the aging recreo and the sounds of parakeets, Victor, a seasoned traveller in the Amazon and a Brazilian national, pointed at the treetops and said, "We'll see a village soon." I tried to follow his finger but could see no sign of people, houses, or even a clearing that might imply some kind of human presence. Everything simply appeared wild and green. Then Victor pointed towards the types of vegetation that had suddenly begun to dominate the riverbanks. On closer inspection, in contrast to the previous mass of forest, a dense concentration of two particular types of plants became clear: acai berry-bearing palms and Brazil nut, or more correctly, Amazon nut trees. Long-term work as an ecologist and frequent visitor to settlements up and down the banks of the Amazon basin meant that Victor knew that these plants acted as a living signpost for human populations. Sure enough, a village slowly emerged from the tangle of dense vegetation on the riverbank. One that was fittingly named Ponta da Castanha, or Point of Amazon Nut Trees. As Victor and the local people, including our generous host Juscelino, well knew, today's river shore settlements are almost always located on top of prehistoric occupation sites. Here, past human societies modified the fertility of the earth and the composition of vegetation over millennia, so much so that these spots still attract local Amazonian food producers today. If Amazonian tropical forests were indeed untouched and largely free of human history, how could I be standing in a location that had repeatedly seen settlement for thousands of years? Second, at the end of our visit, we pushed off from the shore in a small motorboat. Riding just above the waterline and gripping our belongings and equipment in our laps for dear life, I looked up into the sky. What I saw was a fast-moving blanket of clouds sailing above the Amazon rainforest and its human settlements, so close you could nearly touch it. It was in this moment that perhaps for the first time I truly appreciated the regional, continental, and global significance of tropical forests. If these forests disappeared, the loss of water evaporating from billions upon billions of leaves would turn this blanket of cloud into a threadbare rag. What few of us realize is that tropical forests are globally responsible for a significant portion of the planet's terrestrial rainfall. In the case of the Amazon basin,